All right, folks. Welcome back to onemanmedia.us, and this is Didi Pham talking to you from Lincoln Village, San Antonio, Texas. This is a continuation of the previous video on the occasion that I released the onemanmedia.us and the surveillance software named The Unborn Watch. Please go to the website and click on the tab The Unborn Watch to find out more about it. And also, let me see if I can, it's not needed actually. I just want to remind that One Man Media, one is number one. It's not the OME, but One Man Media. We just don't have any space or any special character and .us. And also about the recording studio on the website. I still have doubt because I'm not sure it's a wise idea to open my door at this time for the recording, because this is kind of sensitive right now for me, because I do feel like the hidden dirty being still try to put pressure on me by a lot of dirty stuff. The example I tried to tell briefly about that on the last video already. They try every trick to stop me to go to the gym in the apartment complex right here. But again, I'm not sure who to point finger to, because it's complicated. I'm not sure, the people at the office, they don't know me enough, right, to do something like that. But who knows? Maybe they just manipulated by the hidden dirty being, outside of the apartment, or by their boss or the upper management. I'm not really sure about it. So that's why I say even the speculation is, whether there's the hidden ghost at the gym. So that's why they try to prevent me to go to there. So maybe they try to protect me. that's a joke. I think so. And even someone suggested to me that that's why the management try to to fire a lot of people. But one more time, I want to confirm that all the political I can say the political dependence, I do believe that doesn't matter, they fire or they don't fire. Sometimes I do know that for the political parties and the interest group, they try to just like not the real fire, real firing, but you just like move from one location to another, so you never know about it. So that's why I say I declare very clearly already, no political party or even religion. So that's why I say just leave me out of those kind of dirty. So I don't believe that you serious about punishing your own people. That's the way the creature, the hidden dirty beings do nowadays, right? They just try to maybe switching the roles of their people, not the real firing. So even in terms of the lawmakers right now, or even the FBI director Comey, right? I do right at the time the president announced he fired the guy. I know right away maybe he's gonna go somewhere else. And later on, I heard that he got a very good lucrative deal with the book So that's why I say, of course, absolutely, for the political play, I just don't trust them on those things. Absolutely no. And sadly, nowadays, they also use the religion to play that too. So that's why I say, just want to caution folks about, yes, I have nothing to, to go against the pure belief. Just like me, I absolutely have a very strong faith in God. But that's why I say, for the pure believers, absolutely, that's beautiful to me. If you have the real faith, that's beautiful for your life. Just like me, even I has been, facing a lot of dirties, but as long as, my faith is strong, I'm good, absolutely, because my life, the meaning of my life is, now I can define that, that's worth to teach the hidden dirty beings the very valuable lessons, how to behave and how to be peaceful and how to respect life, especially. That is the main cause for my life. So that's the reason why I say, keep up your strong faith, but be very cautious about the religious propaganda. That's very dirty nowadays for the political and mixing with the religion, and I think I don't like it. But what can I say? So please remember to go to that's number one, onemanmedia.us. Click on the Unborn Watch. That is a great surveillance software. I cannot say enough here, but I just want to mention one more time about two very special features. No privacy invasion. Without the user's permission, I'm not going to send even the error message back to my server. No, absolutely no. And also, that's one example only. And also, another feature, I did try to use, Einstein videos clip in his own voice to convey the message to the technical community. Okay, you have to be very cautious. Don't use the razor as Einstein mentioned in the video. Okay, just like the razor in the 3-year-old child. You harm others and you can harm yourself too. Just not to poison the living environment. So your children, your grandchildren, they will taste the poison later. So be very careful. So keep our social environment very clean for ourselves, for our children, for our great-grandchildren. So very, very important, right? So that's the reason why Einstein message very, very, very important. And the main point he emphasized on, as the human race, we need to develop the moral standard to survive in the universe. So if you want to escalate the dirty, absolutely nothing gonna win in the situation in our whole society. So try your best to contain. Don't use technology, don't use science to spread out the poison. That is very dangerous. All right. So that's the reason why I also want to go through the video that I prepared for the last attempted forecast back in the early May on the occasion of Mother's Day and also on the occasion of the fall of Saigon back then in 1975. So maybe it's appropriate for the one who knows the Vietnam War, because is deeply related and affected to myself, my family, my people back then. So one example, my father had to spend almost 15 years in a communist prison after the war. And another big example is almost 1 million of Vietnamese people, just had to sacrifice on the way to find freedom after the communists took over the South. So, and that is according to the UN. So it is not. I didn't make it up, but if you want to find out more about the Vietnamese plight at the time, so just go search for both people on the internet. You're gonna know more about it. That's the whole lot of situation. I think that's very sad, but that's why I try to speak on behalf of my father and his almost like 15 years in a communist prison. I want to send a message to the war preacher that you have to be very, very cautious to enter a war, and just try your best to respect life in general. It is just not okay. At the same time, right? At the same time, that is also for the. That is also the big lesson for the communists in general to learn, especially for the Vietnam communists. The brutality to the point that like Ho Chi Minh himself at the time he was the top leader of Vietnam, that he murdered up to almost like some, according to some document, is like around 600,000 Vietnamese people at the time, and that's why I call he was the biggest mass killer in the Vietnam history. So that's it's sad for Vietnam. In the north, the big killer like Ho Chi Minh, and in the south, we don't have the good leader. Especially, I did mention in the last video about Ngô Đình Diệm. Yeah, because on the 22nd, the day that they assassinated President Kennedy here in the U.S., and 3 weeks before Kennedy, that was Ngô Đình Diệm was assassinated in Vietnam. Absolutely, I think they are related, and I point out some some contrast and the common things about these two leaders. But by the way, I just want to add here because I did tell the story about the hidden dirty being even tried to use my family somehow to send a message to me, especially in the conversation. I remember back then when I decided to leave my family because I knew that they are deeply compromised by the hidden dirty beings. So my sister at the time mentioned about that. They wanted me to be the president, and later on, when I came back to San Jose in 2010, I believe, I believe I did mention to one of the big the older guy in my choir, Teresa choir at the time. I want to mention also the name, so if you want to track it out, maybe you can. That is the name is last name, the same last name with me, Phạm Hảo. I did mention to him that, because I know that, at least some groups in Vietnamese community did want me to be the president of Vietnam. So that's why half joke, half real, I say, hey, now I don't want to be president. Because why? Because one of the big reason is, the politics now so dirty. I did point out the example of Ngô Đình Diệm when he got killed. So I say that, they can bring you to the top of your nation or to the presidency, and maybe they can shoot you down just like an animal in the case of Ngô Đình Diệm. So that's why I say, not that I'm afraid to die, but the problem is, if like right now, if I passed away, I die, they can shoot me just like any animal they want, right? But in this case, I die alone, maybe not affecting a lot of people. But if I am the president of Vietnam and they shoot me down because of my belief and my vision they don't like, right? If they shoot me down in the case that I am the president, that is much bigger issue. A lot of people, can be affected. So that's why I say, hey, if they want to make me a king, maybe I can consider, but not the president. The president, they don't like, they just get you up and they just shoot like the animal, just like the case of Ngô Đình Diệm and JFK, like that. So that's very troubling to me, but I think that I'm ready to tell. So very creepy. And also related to the video back then in the early May, I want to mention also about, right on the Mother's Day. I'm not sure that's a notice from the apartment office or not, but when I came down to do the routine exercise, get the key in the office, and I remember right on that day, a lady told me that their computer got attacked too. So I'm not sure that's the notice for me or not. But right after the exercise, and I came back to my apartment, and right on that night, my computer got attacked. So that's why I say that absolutely I cannot blame anyone. Not Microsoft, as maybe someone on the internet suggested. Maybe they saw that. Could be, I'm speaking too loudly for the unborn, and on the other side, Bill Gates is just like really liberal, and at least he used to fund for abortion. But hey, give him the credit. He's converted a few years back already. I'm not sure it has anything to do with me, but absolutely that's to his credit. And I say that he stopped funding for abortion back in 2013 or 14. I don't remember exactly, but that is good. That is good news. So, but at the same time, I don't believe that Bill Gates is that small. I think that nothing compared to him in terms of his foundation and his company with the whole power of the Windows and the software, Visual Studio and everything. I am using those technologies now. But like I say, if that is the case, I still, try to recommend Bill Gates to think again, don't use the technologies for wrong thing, just like Einstein taught us. So, okay, let's move right into the first video clip. I still remember that the first one should be Trump versus Comey, but just brief summary, like I say, in terms of Trump and Comey at the time, I do believe just that is just like the trading nowadays. It's very obvious, and absolutely I believe that Comey helped Trump to be the president in terms of try to send out the message and the letter at the very right time, right? Of course, on the surface, if someone just doesn't follow very closely, sometimes he tried to give Trump a tough time and then Clinton a tough time, but I do believe at the end he did affect he did affect the election in terms of choosing Trump to be the president. That's what I believe. Even I think that regardless, a lot President Trump is I can say that a lot of flaws right with him, but I think he absolutely still better than Obama or Secretary Clinton. Yeah, because for me, I think that for those people I call professional criminals because they are too extreme, too aggressive against the unborn. And just today or yesterday, I believe I saw a very good video clip from Secretary Clinton interview with Chuck Todd in the Meet the Press. Herself did use the word unborn person, and you dare to kill the unborn person, and try to encouraging in the process of campaigning, encouraging people to kill the unborn persons. So that is horrible to me. So that's why I say I categorize these folk absolutely as a criminal, professional criminals. Trump not that good, but at least it helps. It helps not to go around to say that I am supporting to kill the unborn babies. So it helps, but absolutely Trump didn't do enough because that's why I say that Obama encouraged people to kill the unborn, and Trump stepped on the corpses to the presidency. Why? Even up to now, didn't mention anything about the law to save the unborn, especially for the unborn boys and girls. Meaning, at the time we know the gender already. So I urge President Trump, think again. You did use the word unborn babies in your debate with Secretary Clinton. So that's why, please, I urge you to reconsider and at least, keep your promise with the unborn. And because, without that issue, absolutely you didn't win the presidency. Without that issue and without the help from Fox News, and it is very troubling for me to think maybe the Republicans just try to use that issue as the leverage for the campaign. So that's sad No, it's not the way to win, to use the unborn just like in a game. That's dangerous. So that's why I say now, you know, the Republicans, you guys got the presidency, you guys got the Senate, you guys got the House of the Representative. Stop playing with the life. Stop playing with the unborn babies, all right? So that's so disgusting. That's why I did conclude that, you know, no unborn boys, unborn girls got killed without the blessing from both parties. That's very important. Okay, so that's enough for the Trump versus Comey. And now I'm going to show you the next video I have. I prepare in the early May, so you know that what I talked about, and I tried to talk actually. And after that, also I try a few more attempts, especially on the total eclipse. I think September 22nd, I believe. But again, on that day, I failed. So that's why I say just wait until I just completed my website and the software. So now look like it should be working fine, but you never know. I have been troubles for the last few days also related to the recording studio right here. So okay, so let's see what Senator from California, Senator Feinstein, had to say in the hearing for the Justice Gorsuch.
Judges and courts should evaluate our constitutional rights and privileges as they were understood in 1789. However, to do so would not only ignore the intent of the framers, that the Constitution would be a framework on which to build, but it severely limits the genius of what our Constitution upholds. I firmly believe the American Constitution is a living document intended to evolve as our country evolves. In 1789, judges and courts should evaluate our constitutional rights and privileges as they were understood in 1789.
Because,
however,
like I said,
to do so involving would not only ignore the intent of the framers, that the Constitution would be a framework on which to
absolutely
build,
the Constitution
but it severely
must be the
limits
living document, you know, for our society to work. It's oddly enough, and ironically, I agree with the senator from California. Even, you know, I know that, you know, she is kind of very disgusting in terms of, you know, supporting to kill the unborn babies in California, also in the U.S. Senate. So that's why I strongly agree on this point, because we just cannot be that backward. We just cannot afford, you know, to use the same context for the 21st century, because now we have the nanotechnology, and we have even the new thing is, you know, genomic medicines, and every, you know, all kind of advanced technology and science like that. And if we still, you know, keep the original words of the Constitution, and we just follow, you know, literally, no, we do. Absolutely, we do. So, okay, that one, and next one I'm going to show you is also from this clip, but on the different text.
Roe. However, his writings do raise questions. Specifically, he wrote that he believes there are no exceptions to the principle that, quote, the intentional taking of a human life by private persons is always wrong, end quote. This language
I love Justice Gorsuch on this score because why? Because of course I'm supporting life also, right? But like I said, maybe I'm gonna just leave it until go through all the videos, and I'm gonna come back to talk about Justice Gorsuch again, yeah, because I found some maybe not related directly to him, but something is very irritating for me during the whole thing, even when he put the hand on the Bible to swearing. So I'll talk about it later. But now let's jump to the next video about the President Trump talking on the North Korea issue.
Should have been done and taken care of by the Obama administration, should have been taken care of by the Bush administration, should have been taken care of by Clinton.
Let me ask you a question about the presidency. George W. Bush said this about being president. He said, you think one thing going in, and then the pressures of the job or the realities of the world are different than you thought. Do you agree?
I think I can agree with that. I love doing it. Should have been done and taken care of by the Obama administration, should have been taken care of by the Bush administration.
I do believe that, as I said in the last video, of course, I chose President Bush, the son, is the best president during the last 50 years for the reason that, he's very courageous in terms of banning possible abortion. That is very courageous to do so. Also working with Senator Rick Santorum. So, but on this matter, I do believe for every president, they under pressure of the powerful agencies like, of course, CIA. I do believe that the most powerful organization in the government, because they are continuous, and it doesn't matter, who's gonna be in the White House. They have the whole army of the intelligence agents, intelligent or stupid. I'm not really sure, but actually I do think that they holding the real power in all administrations. So that's why something like the Iraq war is out of control, absolutely out of control of President Bush. That's what I think. And in terms of this context, I do believe that, it's just an excuse. Like he's saying, maybe you think this way and the world is changing too fast, so you have to take a different decision. Maybe that's just for the excuse, but internally, I do believe that a lot of pressure from the Defense Department itself, from the CIA, and from other so-called intelligence agencies. So that's why I say understandable. But maybe he got attacked a lot because he was very courageous in terms of banning the possible abortion. Okay, and also the next video related to Senator Cruz, also from Texas. Take a look.
Two, right? For due process, fair notice. And the truth is, like so much else in life, we're aiming for the golden mean. Not too much, not too little. Point where people have enough fair notice, but are overwhelmed. That's what I spoke about.
Well, and I agree with you. It is a significant problem, one that this committee has addressed multiple times, and I hope will continue to address. Indeed, I'm reminded of one legal thinker who famously observed, In heaven there is no law, and the lion lies down with the lamb. In hell, there is nothing but law, and due process is meticulously obeyed. And
So I would love to ask Senator Cruz about this one because so are we living in hell as you suggested? Yeah, because here is like everything, a little thing, right? We try to meticulously, try to put into due process. So sadly, I did conclude a long time already. Even when I talked to remember in the other video, I say I talked to Mr. Holt, the one who invited me to his home to stay over there for a while, maybe 2 weeks, I believe. And then he kicked me out, and I left. He kicked me out at the time, and I left, and I also no questions asked. That's very interesting. And one more fact about the couples, the old couples. Yes, I did stay there, and also I asked him to have the permission from Mrs. Holt. And another fact I want to tell is Mrs. Holt told me very, very sensitive and interesting quote. Actually, I have to put it in quote. He said that God knows your heart. And I hope and I do believe that, even the path behind them, behind the couple, hopefully that, they do know my heart. Yeah, because my heart is clean, my heart is pure, my heart is absolutely for the life of the unborn. And one more fact about Mr. Holt also. I'm not sure that was a threat or not, but he did mention, he did told me that, just half joking and half real, saying, okay, you're gonna come around, and it's just be in terms of my religion. So that's why I say that is also creepy. But at the time I didn't say anything about it. But like I said, too many incidents from the Christian people just made me feel very creepy. And if you put all of them together, I can definitely say that those Christians are really evil. But I still give the doubt, give them the benefit of the doubt. So that's why I say it's very tough, because in my position, I could be the hard left liberal, could be they are the main I can say the main force to attack me. But you never know, because nowadays even the hard left, they also in the church also, like Nancy Pelosi, Feinstein, or even George Soros. According to Glenn Beck, George Soros also funding a lot of activities for the church, for the churches actually. So that's why I say nowadays it's all blurry. They try to muddy the water, and absolutely I just don't have a very clear idea the dirty beings behind all the attacks. But could be the Christians, could be the pure left without any religious background, or could be the combination, or could be the gang ups between like the Taiwanese. Like I say, example, when I was in Taiwan, somebody talked to me about the presidency of Vietnam, and they also delay my flight somehow for some reason. I didn't buy the ticket to stay in Taiwan but only to stop there to change the plan to do the transiting. But somehow they keep me there for another day or two, I believe. And during the time, it's something sensitive also. And I say enough about it, but back to the situation in terms of where the law is good or the law is bad. You know, up to this point in my life, I can say that just purely look into, you know, the law is you know, allowing to kill the unborns like that. I say that there's something deadly wrong about the whole law system. So everyone who is closely related to the law, you have to wake up. You have to wake up from the Supreme Court to the lawmakers, even to the lawyers who's working in the field. So you have to think again, because we claim that this is the nation of law, and this nation is that disgusting in terms of, you know, suppressing and oppressing the lives of the unborn. So I think that's we must reconsider and fix it as soon as possible. And later on, you're going to see the clip from Senator Rubio. And for Senator Rubio, I say many times already, he did claim that, you know, that is so barbaric. And even Governor Jeb Bush once said that, you know, later on, it's not even imaginable to think of abortion. So that's why I say, I really hope that, you know, there are forces in terms of, you know, try to reverse Roe v. Wade, and at least, you know, you're gonna go back to the state. So the state can decide, okay, whether they want to kill their unborns or not. So that is one of the ultimate resolution. But up to this point, I'm so disappointed to the law, and I'm gonna tell more about it later, because it's deeply related to me too. So the next video clip is from Senator Franken.
There are a lot of more words and opinions, both in the majority by my colleagues and in dissent, but that I'm happy to agree with you. That's the gist of it.
Right. Well, that's what you've said. And look, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been on this committee for about 8 years, and I've paid some attention. So I know that what you're talking about here is the plain meaning rule. Here's what the rule means. When the plain meaning of a statute is clear on its face, when its meaning is obvious, courts have no business looking beyond the meaning to the statute's purpose. And that's what you used, right?
That's what was argued to us by both sides, Senator.
But that's what you used.
Yeah, both sides
right.
argued
Okay.
that the plain meaning supported their
and
interpretation.
you used it to come to your conclusion.
But both sides.
But the plain meaning rule has an exception. When using the plain meaning rule would create an absurd result, courts should depart from the plain meaning.
In the case of the frozen trucker, I absolutely believe that, you know, this one is one of the example that, you know, the hidden dirty beings, you know, try to compromise the people they put in power. Yeah, because for the common sense, I do not believe that, a normal person can rule against the trucker like this situation of the Justice Gorsuch. So I just truly believe this is one of the examples that, he has to prove to the hidden dirty being that, yes, he can maybe follow their orders because, this is very special. And I did follow the hearing, and I saw that, there's no reason, there's no other reason why Justice Gorsuch just ruled against the truck driver. So for me, I think that is the conclusion at least. And let's move on to another video from Senator Rubio, I believe. All right.
On the issue of life, to me, the issue of life is not a political issue. It's a human rights issue, and it's a difficult issue because it puts in conflict two competing rights. On the one hand is the right of a woman to choose what to do with her body, which is a real right. And on the other hand is the right of an unborn human child to live. And they're in conflict.
Absolutely. I still saying that, Senator Rubio, not Cruz, Rubio from the state of Florida. So Senator Rubio is got a really, compassion in terms of, fighting for the unborn. But I just, again, also disappointed. I have to emphasize the point is you just don't use the issue for the campaigning, but on the daily basis, or at least on a weekly basis, or at least, in your activities, you have to have something. You have to have some kind of, the operation to go against the barbaric law, according to Senator Cruz also. That is so barbaric. And let's take a look at one more clip from Senator Rubio.
What you or I did. And just as importantly, you are the voice and the vote of countless other children who have yet to be created, but whose life will soon be challenged as well. The truth is, I believe in all my heart that future generations will look back at this era in American history and condemn us. They'll look at what's happened here since 1973, and they will characterize this nation as barbarians. At some point, hopefully in our lifetime, but certainly at some point, people will look back at this practice and say, how could that be possible? In the way that we look back at the atrocities of the past,
at some point, that's sad. That's sad. Because why? Because it's been almost 50 years already. And almost up to the total is up to 60 million unborn got killed since then already, since the Roe v. Wade. And we still have something like, very much just like that, like the unsung promise, I can say that. So still very troubling to me. That's why I want to come back to one of my advice for the Thanksgiving dinner's talk. I did mention that, maybe you have to avoid all kind of issues on the Thanksgiving dinner table. So the good issues, let's question deeply one more time about, okay, let's, first question, are we a Christian nation? Are we a nation of Jesus? This is the season of Jesus, right? And second question, what does Jesus do in terms of, talking about the unborn? Does he approve? Does he not approve? Or what is the real message from Jesus Christ? I know that for sure. In my heart, he say, I am the way and the truth and life. So there's no way Jesus is going to approve, to kill the unborn boys and girls like that. Absolutely not. And at the same time, okay, the nation of Jesus, and now I want to mention a nation of law. So what kind of nation are we? So be very careful to think about the game between two parties. They not really believe in terms of supporting or against. But somehow I just believe that this is just like the very bloody game. They just use the unborns as the issue or as a leverage to play during the campaign season. And after that, just totally forget. And no mainstream media, including Fox. Of course, Fox, once again, to me, is a mainstream media. Including Fox, no one tried to dig deep into the issue of the abortion. They only argue in terms of, hey, are you supporting abortion or not? Are you pro-life, pro-choice? Or no one digs into, the very disgusting stuff, like how they kill the unborn boys and girls when they have to do the possible abortion. And even no one mentioned about nowadays, even at the conception, we know the DNA already. And if we know the DNA, we can estimate that, how long the unborn will live and at what age maybe the boys and a girl or a man or a woman will develop a certain illness like cancer or something like that. So that's why nowadays the genomic medicine is very powerful. And the DNA to me could be, enough to say that, hey, this is the DNA, the future of the human life. So you just cannot touch it. So I didn't hear anything from the media, the mainstream media. So that's why I say that's very sad. That's why I did conclude that, for the mainstream media, they are allowed to talk only about a certain topic, only allowed to talk to the scenario stuff, actually. Nothing really deeply concerned about the moral development, just like Einstein taught us. Without moral development, the whole human race will not survive. Just remember that. Now, a conclusion for this video, I want to go back one more time to the prompter to talk about the first item here. Why I say that? It is kind of creepy for me to see Justice Gorsuch putting his hand on the Bible. I did tell briefly the story already because I did tell in the previous videos long time ago, a few months back, maybe at the beginning of this year, the hidden dirty beings, put me in the prison for the second time in Albany on the day of Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, on that night, they put me in the prison, the county jail, jail and then released me on the date of, and somehow right on that date, somehow they let me know that Justice Stephen Davis or David Stevens resigned on that date also, and in the prison during that time, around 6 months, they had one of the inmates told me that I am a smart man and I should be the Attorney General of Georgia, the state of Georgia. And I just remember, I still say, I talked to, because on that day was the date that, they just let you out to take a bath or walking around. So I think every other day they let you out, I think around half an hour, I think. And I just walking around and right at one cell, one of the inmates stopped me to talk to me about it. And I told him that I know that I'm not that smart. I'm only, in terms of smartness, I do believe that I'm just like average. But I told him that I am a wise man. But in terms of, the Attorney General, I didn't say anything. But that's why I say that for the long history between me and the Christian community, even in terms of I quit Catholic, back then when I went to the university, the Catholic university also, so even back then I had a lot of pressure in terms of, like I still remember the name like Jeff. At the time he was attending law school, and also his friend Greg always try to get me to the church, and I know that they are Christians, they're not Catholic. And then also a girl, a Chinese American girl named Nancy, is also very, very dedicated Christian, and also try many times to get me to their church. So that's why, and many more occasions, even when I was staying at Villa Monterey in San Jose, many times. And even lately, when I heard from Glenn Beck on his radio program, I knew, the young man, in the white shirt and the black pants. At the time, I didn't know those men are from the Mormon Church. But yes, I did invite, on many occasions, I believe, invite them to come to my apartment to talk, because of course when they knock on your doors and one is you have to be kind of polite, and also at that time I also were willing to talk to them to let them know the real me. Maybe that's why it's just kind of it's tricky to explain. I say that maybe because of my belief right at the time. During that time, I remember I was still in the Catholic Church, but I always tell, even in my choir, and tell the people who go around to preach, I tell them the truth. I do not believe truly in the Bible. So that's why maybe that's the reason why many people just try to keep coming back to my apartment in Villa Monterey at the time to try to convince me, or try to at least to bridge, and that's why I say that if you say that there's nothing between me and the Christian community. I think that's the wrong statement, and that's a fake statement. But I also, at the same time, still give the Christian community the benefit of the doubt, because behind the scene, you never know who did the real attack. Yeah, because could be the hard left, or could be even the hard left in the church themselves did the attack, or combination, or even they try to cooperate with the Vietnamese people who are not Christian at all, could be. But in the example of my family, of course, they are Christians. And I know that, for sure. I'm going to tell more later in other videos. But back to the case of Justice Gorsuch, I felt creepy because, no, I never believed if even they want me to be the justice in the Supreme Court, never lay my hand on the Bible to swear in. No way. That's my life principle. No way I can change it. Even now you say that you give me the presidency, kick Trump out of White House, and then I'm going to replace Trump. No way too. Yeah, because if I am to become the first immigrant and the first yellow and flat-nosed president of the U.S., I am not going to put my hand on the Bible. Absolutely no. That is no way. No Bible, no Quran, no holy book of Buddhism or the Jewish or any religion. So that's why I say maybe put my hand on the theory of relativities of Einstein, but that's not right. Okay, so and also another observers, observed from at the beginning of the year, because this is the first time I pay attention to the process, like swearing in, and even I know before for the president, of course, you have to put your hand on the Bible, but I didn't know that even the cabinet members has to do the same. So I think that's kind of creepy to me. So Christians, please think again, because according to the Constitution, that's not right. We have to take the Bible and all other so-called holy books out of the public area, public arena, I can say that. So to be fair to all faiths, because if you use the Bible only, of course, you're gonna treat the other believers, in other faiths not fair. Yeah, because see, they don't want. Maybe they want their own version of the Bible or their own version of the holy books, but you use the Bible, so meaning that yes, you kind of violate their faith. You you don't show enough respect for other religions. So that's why I say, to be fair, so please, Christians, consider to step back a little bit. And for the progressive also, I would love to see that, you denounce the possible abortion. So both sides should, step back a little bit. So we're going to meet somewhere not in the middle, at least, we're not too extreme to the point that you only promote Christians in the government, and not extreme to the point that you are just creepy to the point and extreme to the point, killing the unborn boys and unborn girls. So definitely, if that happens, it will help a lot, for our society. And the good thing is for the whole world, because we are the superpower that we need to be the beacon of the world for that. So okay, with that, I want to conclude this video, and see you very soon in the next video. Maybe right after this, I'm going to record another video, or tomorrow. So all right, so long, until the next video.